Hey viewers, my name's Kara. I'm your host for Tuesdays here on the Pagan Perspective, and this week we're talking about people in the community who, for lack of a better term, the way I put it is people who won't walk the walk. The question is about people in the community who we may or may not have come across who seem to not want to do any work for themselves, seem to not want to do any research or look into anything or maybe practice things on their own, figure out whatever, that kind of thing, and they just want everyone else to explain everything to them. And have we ever dealt with that, and what did we do? So that's the topic this week. Before I get into my opinion on that, I just want to insert a brief note that the collab's anniversary is coming up this month. It'll be our 7th anniversary, meaning the collab is 7 years old, and we will be starting our 8th year. And I just want to remind everyone to please submit questions and video topics. We're going to want a whole bunch to start the new collab year with. So pretty soon we're going to have our special anniversary time. There's always 2 subs weeks in a row. We do that at the anniversary. And we'll probably do some reintroduction type stuff or some get to know you kind of stuff. I don't know, like things that we always do at our collab new year. And then we're going to need some new topics. So if there's anything you've been thinking of asking, you can message the Pagan Perspective channel account. You can leave it on the Pagan Perspective channel discussion, the main discussion page on the channel. And some people also post them on the Pagan Perspective Facebook page. That doesn't get checked as often. So the best ways are to message the Pagan Perspective account or put it on our discussion page on our channel main page. Okay, so now that I've covered that, the topic this week. Have I dealt with people like this? Yeah. And I don't think it'll surprise any of you if I say that I haven't dealt with that as much in my personal community, because many of you know I haven't dealt much with in-person community. Every kind of group, event, anything like that that I've gone to, it's been sort of a learning environment. So either we're going there to learn because it's a workshop, so we are being taught, or we are just kind of getting together to celebrate, like going to Pagan Pride, things like that. Anyone that I've met there, I haven't necessarily worked with or had to be in an environment where maybe I was teaching them and they didn't want to do the work themselves. So the way that this has mostly come up for me is viewers online. And I hate to say it, but I have gotten frustrated with some people over the years who would incessantly message me asking questions, saying, oh, I'm so interested in this, I want to learn about this, and they would ask me for help, and I might explain a couple of things, then I might recommend a book, I might recommend a website, because not everyone has the money or the ability to go and get books, I understand that, so I would often refer them to a website, because if you're online messaging me, I know that you have the internet, so I'd give them a website, blah, 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 and sometimes that would be enough, and they'd be like, great, thank you, good to go, just go and do their own work, those people are awesome. And sometimes it would be, oh, no, I don't have time to do that, can you just tell me how to do this? And I'd be like, well, do you know how to do this, this, and this, that are like things that go into that you kind of need to know first? No, I don't need to know all that, I just want to know that, no, you do need to know all of that, and that's what you need to do first. So yes, I have dealt with that with people online. I have gotten frustrated. There's specifically one example that I'm thinking of that really frustrated me because it was kind of an ongoing conversation, and it was very much like, I really want to do this, like I want this to be my path, da-da-da, and that at the end it was like a complete 180. They were like, no, I don't want to read any of that. Like, they laughed at me in text form. It was like, ha ha ha, no, I don't want to read all that stuff. I want you to tell me this. And I was like, so you just wasted how much of my time messaging back and forth with you, explaining things, giving you all these resources, all of that stuff I typed out. Cool, thanks. And so I pretty much told them, that's not what I do, and that's not how these things work. It's just not. And I know that some of it might be this conception that that's how pagans and witches learn, is that we're supposed to have a mentor, we're supposed to have a teacher in person, or we're supposed to have a coven or a grove or whatever you may have, there is this ideal that is the learning environment that we're supposed to have. So in one way, you might think, yes, we're supposed to learn from a teacher. They are supposed to teach us. We are supposed to have things explained to us. But at the same time, in real life, when that really happens, your teachers are also assigning you things to read, assigning you things to practice on your own and bring back later. Like, there's homework. There's stuff that you have to do. And it shouldn't feel like you have to do it. If it's something that you really want to do, it's something that you're feeling called to do, you would be really excited to do it, and you'd want to do that as much as possible. So, yeah, I've dealt with a few people who seem to not want to walk the walk, and it can be frustrating for people who are teachers, and also for people like the person who asked this question said that they don't consider themselves a teacher, so it's not really something that they're used to doing, explaining to other people. Now, I do want to say that you don't have to be in the role of a teacher to be able to explain to someone else as much as you know, and just feel free to say, you know, I'm figuring this out on my own too, but here's something that I have come up with that maybe you'd like to try, maybe it could help you. And you're not always going to want to share every little thing. You might not want to share very personal nuances of things that you've learned in your own practice, but you might say, you know, I tried an exercise like this, you might want to do that. But yeah, there is stuff that you do on your own. There is homework, there is path work there, that it is your path, it is no one else's. So if you are the person who wants things explained to you, think about why that is. I get it, there are some people who, I hear from these people all the time, people who don't trust the books and the websites and stuff like that because you don't know what's true and what's not. I get that. So people often will come to those of us online who make videos or something like that and say, you know, what are your resources that you recommend? What resources do you trust? If someone that you trust has given you a resource, then you can pretty much guess that that resource will have some accurate information for you. And they'll probably give you any warnings about it, like take this with a grain of salt, or make sure that you read this, or, you know, this was one of their first books as opposed to their later books, like that kind of thing they might tell you. So it is beneficial to have someone to ask those kinds of things to. But that is, I think that's an acceptable form of, like, having someone explain something to you. Or if you're just really stuck on something, if you've really done the work and you just can't get it. Someone asked me a question a while ago. They said, you know, I've been working on trying to sense the energy of my circle and the boundaries of my circle for months, and I just don't get it. I can't see it like other people, you know, and at first I didn't really know what they meant, so we messaged back and forth, and on their second reply, they said something that revealed to me exactly what they meant, and it completely dawned on me why they weren't getting it is because they had a completely different understanding of what they were supposed to be doing. So they had read it, they had listened to other people talk about it, and they just had a misconception about what was being talked about. So once I figured that out, through what they said, I was able to say, oh no, it's like this. And then they said, oh my gosh, okay, I've totally never got that before. They went and tried it and then messaged me again and said, it worked, thank you so much. Like, that kind of thing. You can have people explain things to you, but you're also putting in the footwork and putting in the path work and doing it all. You know, you're trying to figure it out for yourself, right? That's what we, as teachers, labeling myself a teacher for the moment with my teacher hat, that's what we like to see, is people doing the work and then coming in with questions. It's very hard for me personally, as a YouTuber, as a practitioner, and as someone who finds herself in the role of teacher occasionally. It's hard for me to have someone come up to me, just, you know, blank slate, and say, teach me about this. Because I go, where do I start? You know, that's when I start asking people, okay, well, what do you believe? What are you interested in? What do you want to learn about? Do you know about this, this, and this? I feel like I'm putting people through the entrance interview that I went through for my college, for my major. We all had an entrance interview and an exit interview that when we came in, I have a degree in theater, when we came in, the three professors sat around and they said, okay, have you ever heard of Stanislavski? Have you heard of Brecht? Have you heard of the No Theater? Have you heard of da-da-da-da? And they would just list all these things. And so many people were nervous about that interview. A lot of my friends, they were like, oh, I don't know anything, I'm so nervous, I feel like I should know more. But really what it was they just wanted to know kind of where you were so they could figure out what classes do you need to take, what do you need to learn, and what do you already know. So when I did my interview and they were throwing all these names at me, I just went, nope, don't know who that is, nope, don't know who that is, nope, never heard of that before, oh, I think I've heard of that, but I don't know a lot about it. And then 4 years later at my exit interview when they said, tell me who Stanislavski is, tell me who Brecht is, tell me about the No Theater, I had learned all that stuff. So that's how it works. So it's hard for me as a teacher, as a person, as a practitioner, whatever, to just start from nothing. So I will often recommend to people, like, here's some general resources, go and read a very general resource about paganism, about magic, about whatever it is you want to learn about, and then come back to me with questions. When I do that for people online, I'd say about 75% of those people never get back to me, or at least haven't gotten back to me in years. And the other 25%, some of them will get back to me once and say, thank you so much, that really helped me, or they'll say, thank you so much, I do have one question, and then I'll answer that, and that'll be it. And a very tiny percentage, I don't have the actual statistics here, but a very tiny percentage actually become people who then keep in touch with me as they go throughout their paths, and we become very close that way and share things with one another. I have a few people that I've met on YouTube that way who started out asking me questions or started out asking my opinion on something that they had already worked on, and that is just really cool. I have a friend in my personal life now who is interested in learning about paganism, really knows nothing about it, so there is going to be kind of an element for me of, handing them a book and saying, here's a really general book that I have about paganism, or here's a website, read this and tell me what you think. Tell me if you have any questions about this. And it'll be me saying, like, okay, do you know about the classical system of the elements? Do you know the associations of earth, air, fire, and water? We've already talked about things like, do you know your moon sign and your sun sign, and like what those are and how to figure that out? What do you know about meditation? Have you ever done it before? It's just all these little things where I'm kind of like feeling out, like, what do you actually know just in your life experience? What have you picked up? So that I know where we can go from there. And that's going to be really interesting because it might be something that they want to pursue more. It might be something that they discover they don't really want to pursue. But how do you know that until you get to a certain point? So now I've thrown a whole lot into this video, more perhaps than the topic itself implied would be here. I hope that that's good. I hope you enjoy that. So yeah, I've dealt with those people, and that's how I deal with it. And all the rest of that stuff is how I recommend that you all deal with it if it comes up. Or if you find yourself in that position, just really make sure that you're also putting in your own time, doing your own homework, so that you're not wasting anyone's time, and also so that people just kind of know where to go from there, So you're not giving anyone just I've done nothing, tell me what to do. That's very hard for a teacher to deal with, and it's hard on you too, because it might not be geared to what you actually want to know. So try reading some stuff. I have a list of recommendations on my blog. I guess I can link to it in the description. That would be an easy thing for me to do. If you're looking for any basic resources, you can check those out. And I will see you next week. Please don't forget to send in any topics if there's anything you've been wondering about. And until I see you next, don't forget to be awesome, blessed be, and goodbye.